What's going on, Guardians? TBL here, coming back at you with some more Destiny Crucible gameplay here on the PlayStation 4. Rocking it out in the Control playlist with my little brother Gen X100, and I am using that DIS-47. This is the scout rifle. I've got a pretty good roll, pretty close to what we call the MTASH roll, with full auto and a couple of things to help with its range and stability. And let me tell you, if you have a steady firing hand, this thing slaps. I'm having a lot of fun with it. But like I said, we're just jamming out over here in the Classic Sixes playlist. Figured we'd jump on, have a little bit of fun, and test some things out because Bungie is going to be implementing some new matchmaking soon. Now, this match was actually a couple of days ago, so it's before the new matchmaking went into effect, but we got some word yesterday on July 6th that we are going to be getting some surprising new changes, some new updates, some new tuning to Destiny's Crucible matchmaking. And so that is going to be the focus of today's video. We're going to be diving right into that with the Bungie news alert that went out yesterday. New matchmaking settings. Attention all Guardians. We're always saying that our work on the Crucible is never finished. In our ongoing effort to improve performance in the competitive arena, we have prepared some new matchmaking settings. Now, before we implement these new settings across all Crucible playlists, we'll be conducting a test in Control. As usual, they usually start these tests in the Control playlist. The test run will begin this afternoon on Wednesday, July 6th. Now, after that, they posted up another notice saying that the testing will be postponed until today, Bungie Day, July 7th, because they had some unforeseen issues with the implementation yesterday. So hopefully we'll be seeing some of that later today. Hopefully by the time this video goes up, those matchmaking settings will already be in place. Now, what exactly are these new settings? Well, senior designer Derek Carroll has the details on Bungie's goals and how they may impact your combat experience. Derek says, when the new settings are applied, players at the extreme ends of the skill curve, you probably know who you are, should see shorter matchmaking times. Connection quality is still the primary search criteria. The changes we're implementing will make playlists more responsive to the overall composition of the player population. As matchmaking times shorten, you may encounter players across a wider range of skill. Alright, now I like the sound of this. Basically, they're saying that they're tweaking that matchmaking a little bit, flicking another paperclip at the matchmaking lever to inch it even more towards favoring connection, and that is exactly the kind of thing I want to hear from Bungie. Now, they do state that they always favor connection over skill. You guys know my opinions on that. I don't think that's quite as true as they'd like you to believe, so I'm always happy to hear that in a system like this, in a P2P system, a peer-to-peer system, that the new matchmaking will favor connection over skill. In my opinion, it should never be anything other than that. And I mean, we've seen the reason why, because when you favor skill over connection and try to match people up based almost solely on their skill level in the game, you have all kinds of crazy lag and shenanigans going on. So anything to make the Crucible a less laggy experience is fantastic. Because again, when this game is running well, when it's working the way it should, when you're having nice smooth connections, this is some of the most fun I've had in any shooter ever, regardless of the skill level of the opponents that I'm playing. And while the year one metagame of Crucible was absolutely insane, the connections were at least more reliable than they are in year two. I actually went back yesterday and started watching a lot of my old videos. I might link a playlist of some of those old videos in the description box, but I was just watching a lot of old Crucible videos, and yeah, the connections, they weren't perfect back in year one, but they were definitely a lot better than they've been for the majority of year two. At least in my opinion. So yeah, those are the big changes. Hopefully we'll be seeing some better connections, some faster matchmaking times, and some overall more enjoyable Crucible matches. Now the question comes up of why Bungie's making this decision now, and a lot of people think it might have to do with a dwindling player pool. Of course, as we get into summer and kind of the summer games and content drought, there's less things to do on Destiny. Most people are wrapping up and hitting 335, so they don't need to be doing Prison of Elders or the Raid every single week anymore. There's probably less players in the Crucible too, so it seems very likely, and a lot of people think that Bungie's just opening up the matchmaking settings to basically get all the players that are remaining into matches a little bit more expediently. You know, they do mention faster matchmaking times in this little notice, and something that's very important to me, a little note at the end of this that says, as matchmaking times shorten, you may encounter players across a wider range of skill. Now, what this really does say to me is, yeah, basically, you're going to be running into players who are both above your skill level and probably below your skill level far more often. And as we've shown on our videos here with me making that brand new PlayStation account and playing some Destiny, there are plenty of players outside of my current skill bracket that, who knows, I might be running into on my main account now. So, there we go, that's the big change. Crucible Matchmaking will now, hopefully when they get it all figured out and actually pushed out to the live atmosphere, Crucible Matchmaking will now focus more on connection than it does on skill. Or rather, even more on connection than it does on skill, if we're to believe the previous updates from Bungie. And of course, I think that's a good thing. I'm not going to get on a huge big spiel about why skill-based matchmaking doesn't work in a game like this, but you know, I will say this is a good change. It's something that I was hoping for, and I'm glad to see it being implemented. I have to say, I would probably agree with the people whose line of thought is that this is being motivated by a dwindling player base. At least in part. I mean, you know, this game is 2 years old now, and it's still super popular. As a matter of fact, it's kind of amazing how popular Destiny still is. But we're in the middle of the summer content drought well before a new major expansion, so those numbers are definitely sure to drop. And of course, in order to expedite matchmaking times in Crucible, it would make sense to open up those parameters just a little bit. And I think it might have a little bit something to do with community outcry. We've certainly been very loud about how we feel with when it comes to Crucible matchmaking, so it might be Bungie responding to that just a little bit. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the matchmaking news. Hopefully that's in effect now as you're watching this video. I'm going to be jumping into the Crucible later today to see exactly how that feels. Maybe we'll see a difference, maybe we won't. But also, it's Bungie Day! Happy Bungie Day, everybody! It is the 7th day of the 7th month, and we are expecting something, well, maybe not big, but a little bit of something there from Bungie. I expect them to announce maybe the moments of triumph for year 2, and let us know exactly what we need to see with that. Who knows, we'll see. But otherwise, it's it for this video. Mad props to Mr. Chris Camacho here. That dude was sniping me all game long. You've got a bright future, Guardian. But alright, it's going to be it for this one, guys. Be sure to let me know what you think of these new matchmaking settings in the comment section below. And are you expecting anything big for Bungie Day? Be sure to let me know. But alright, I'm out for now. As always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.